Hey, it's your favorite African Kushite here. To be Africanized and stay that way, because we are Africanized. We were born to be Africanized, and let's have it. Our cravings are being met. Let's satisfy them. Let me tell you something. It's African American History Month. Today's the 28th, and this February is the last day of February, the 28th. And I want to say I feel proud that I feel pride in knowing who I was in a past life as an African person. I don't know who my ancestors were, but I feel that dignifiedness of that cultural change. I just feel it. That cultural change that comes back with us because we are accepting who we are. Accept your roots, accept what matters. And one thing I want to say is, when it comes to accepting your roots, everything that comes with it, all the middle ground, all the above ground, everything up, top, down, side to side, diagonal. So many different ways the world is, just with one culture. We got to look at it. We have to be a part of it. We have to embrace it. And simple as this, a lot happened. We were brought here on a boat by force. And for 500 years, I've done the research, in 1650, that has been 500 years of us being separated from our roots of Africa. And we are finally getting the satisfaction of finding who we are. But it took 500 years. It took modern day technology, the internet. This device I'm using right now, the internet device, my platform, everyone else's platform, audiobooks, YouTube, Google, uh, internet search engines, research, Google employees, computer devices, and Audible, and talking to people. But one of the biggest things I want to say, I'm proud of us saying and accepting who we are and saying that we're African and proud. We're no longer running from it. We're no longer lying. It's good for us to keep going and have the future that is connected to our past. 500 years is a long time. I'm saying no to nonsense of lying. The truth is we are African and proud. The truth will set you free. It will lead your path. It will lay down the foundation. It will simply give you the opportunity to realize what flat land can do. And from that flat land, you can build something. You can be a part of it. You can look around it. You can build a village. Then you can build a town. Then you can build more than just a town. A love. A cultural respect that will not go away with keeping your culture alive for your race as African people. Let's do it. Let's say I'm black and proud. And more importantly, I'm African and I believe it. It's lovely. So say it with me. I'm black and proud. I'm African and I'm loving it. I'm African and I'm accepting it. So, it's this month. This month is February, African American History Month, Black History Month, as we all call it. African American History Month. Because all the historical stuff we've done. And let me tell you something. This is the moment to talk about everything that has transpired and will transpire, even the loss, the things we don't realize it. Excuse me. I'm going to excuse myself for burping because I want to make sure I talk in tongue and make sure I'm loud and clear. To say this, we're here. It's time for us to keep going. Not just know us as African Americans. African Americans, let me tell you this though. We're more than just that. We're Africans from Africa, even though we never lived there and been raised there. There's so many of us. Most of us are Nigerian. This is the Nigerian flag behind me. It says right there, Nigeria. We need to unite, and we're going to keep uniting. That's what this flag behind me is, above me, when I painted. That is the Afro-American flag. It is the flag we created in America to unite with pride and respect. It said, all African Americans unite. We are together in the world. We are dancing neighbors who would dance with each other to make that connection and keep our past and help our present to shape and make our future of African people in this country. But now I want to say this. We're African Americans. We have a holiday, a month, entire month dedicated to our history, the things we have done just in this country of the USA, United States of America. Damn, it's wonderful for that. It's wonderful, wonderful. Who else has their own holiday in this country? Only us. It's holiday dedicated to us. Many schools and people respect it and honor it and recognize it. So, let me say I shed a tear of joy that we have this every month. But only times when we have this month do we really talk about history of African Americans. We talk about a lot of stuff and stuff we go to. But do we really explain what goes on? It depends. We nourish in it. We dabble in it. We put our hand in the roots of the ground, in the dirt, in the soil. See how far we can go to feel something. We're going to feel many things throughout the course of putting our hands in the soil. But one thing we have when we put our hands in the soil, we feel something. A sense of tribalness. A sense of where we had our footsteps and where we're going to keep dancing. We're going to keep walking, keep building, keep moving, planting our future as African people. With Dr. King and many historical figures, Harriet Tubman, I can't name them all, and I will name them all one day. Regardless if it's African American History Month or not, we matter as African people. Let's keep going for our future, and let's matter every day as African people while wearing our garbs, but also honoring the people and being Americans that we are, proud Americans, for the stuff we've done for this country. And let's keep it going and help the future stay by maintaining the love of our by our huts, our empires. Not the love of empires, the love are simply of our African neighbors, who we are, our African footsteps, and the sticks we grab to help shape our future. We don't need the sticks to walk. We can walk with our own 2 feet well and fine because we were born to walk. But the sticks are a compass that's going to keep on encompassing us to where we're going to go. We cannot forget our past. Dr. King, Harriet Tubman, who led her people to slavery, Madame Remy Laveau, what was her name? Rosa Parks, who sat on the bus and said, no, I can sit wherever I want to sit. I have every right to sit here just as much as you. The color of my skin does not hurt me. It's not hurting you. My color of skin does not hurt me to sit down. I wake up, I sit down, I get up, and I sit down again. I am a black person sitting down. I deserve equal rights. Huey P. Newton and Bobby Ray Seale, the founders of the Black Panther Party of Self-Defense. We've done so much. Let's keep it. But here's the best time to say this month has impacted us. So we need to remember our past and talk about more than just Dr. King. We have way more history than that. Of course, we have Malcolm X. We have to keep nourishing ourselves, time to get the nourishment that this plant that has been nourished for many years. It's gone down, but it has not shriveled up. It's still around even after 500, less than that. there's two plants we have planted. One is shriveled up for 500 years, but it's still flourishing it's still flourishing as if it was a young teenage 20-year-old in the world that's shaping the world and making an impact to see the world as a young adult, but still as an adult, as a young adult, to see something, explore, and find, and be luxuriously wonderful and curious to find the world, be part of the world, and travel. That's something we need to remember. This month is a time to relish, not in the dangers, not in racism, but our heartbeat, our mindset, and all the great speeches and all the things we've done. You know, a black person invented the stoplight. Simple as that. A black person invented the gas mask. So that impacted the world, the gas mask. And stoplights in other countries had stoplight because of African Americans. George Washington Carver. I forgot the name of that African American who made the stoplight in the gas mask. It was one gentleman, but he saved and helped many firefighters. He's helped save, rescue people just off that one invention alone. The careful nourishment he gave, the care he had. African Americans, we have fought for so long to live in this country, even when we had so many wonderful things. Hell, we not invented, but we helped pioneered the straight comb, the straightening comb for women to do their hair. The straightener, we helped pioneered it. We helped started it. We took it, we made it better, and we had the impact of it when other people invented it, but we made the impact what it is now, the modern day way of using these hair products like straightening comb. Many people today, even people of all race in America, all women in America of all races use. So we started that. Diversity is good, but no. Being one race, one mind is wonderful. Our ethnic, our background, our race, our ethnicity, and nationality is wonderful. It's one big, wonderful flavor of a color that's painted of all the stuff we've done. No, one of the very first African-American astronauts, I forgot her name, but she wasn't the very first astronaut, but she still was the very first astronaut, and she was a woman, an African-American woman. That is wonderful. The second person to go into space, that was a woman. I think that's wonderful. We've impacted America in many ways. So there's more than just stoplight. We made hair care products that could help with patchiness and women going bald. That's wonderful. That is Africanly inventive. That is our tribe, that is our roots, that is our ancestry, the way we dance and how people are influenced by our dancing now, twerking. But I don't want to talk about twerking, but I want to talk about things we do. We're trying to crave our roots, we're trying to crave our roots. We do things we don't know we're even doing that is African, but yet we say we're not African. It's terrible if you go to Africa. Those people are living a terrible life. Those Negroes over there are living a terrible life. They aren't pretty. That's getting stabbed with a bayonet, a modern-day spear. No. On the other hand, they say, oh, the other armpit is getting stabbed with the spear, the ancient spear that's still alive and made in current years. No. Or the original spear that's simply African, that's wood and has metal on it. No. It's getting stabbed in the heart. No. We are people who have a purpose for what we do and how we do it. It's called culture. Our culture guides us, helps us, it seeks us, we seek out it, and that's wonderful. So all the stuff, let's remember African American History Month. Let's be in America because we fought for so long. Let's wear the business suits. Let's go to all these jobs. Let's work at the gas station. Maybe not the gas station, but let's work, let's see, let's meet people and realize all the things we've done in history. Hell, we invented the air conditioning, an African American inventor. Electricity was a genius idea to begin with. Ben Franklin founded it and invented it. But you know, an African American actually made the idea better. Actually lasts longer than Ben Franklin's idea of electricity. Better than a kite. And that's wonderful. So we have so much to offer the world. Hell, don't be surprised. We even helped like the ideas of apples get better. Maybe make apple juice. I would not be surprised. Look at George Washington Carver. To this very day, peanut butter is an everyday thing. Thanks to George Washington Carver. He was also a scientist. He, made medicine He was more than just that. He was care. He was a caring man for what he loved, which was planting stuff in the ground, not just peanut butter, not just peanuts, many things. He cared for the plant life. And they have the George Washington Carver University of Science for taking care of our agriculture. We need to look up to him because we need to care about agriculture. We can't kill our planet in America. So living tribal is an initiation of embracing. And it's putting your foot down and saying, no, I will not stand for this. That's wonderful. So all the stuff we've done, let's keep it, let's remember it. Let's live and relish in what we've done. But also, more importantly, we have to remember, we came from Africa first. It's time to no longer ignore that. We need to take those footsteps to Africa. Africa's calling us, and I'm answering the call. Africa. Africa's saying, I want you here. I feel for you. Come to home. Dance with us and be merry of Africa and relish in everything African and live African every day and live amongst your people. Even the ground and soil is nourishing you more than you know. It is helping your mind. The air is helping my skin because it's opening up and making me realize when I look up at the sun, that's what makes me an African. That's what gave me the nourishment. Black people, we have melanism. And the darker you are, the darker you are, the slower your skin ages. It's like a metal it's like a metal that's slowly aging, like a tank, like a vehicle, like a wall that's slowly aging. But all the other walls and vehicles have simply evaporated and gone kapooey, and they've rusted. We rust slower. Melanism makes pigment, and pigment means you age slower. The darker your skin is, the more protection from the sun. We literally are born with the power of ourselves, black power. So black power is a superpower. People say that it's not a superpower. Let me say it again. Black power is a superpower. Our skin is nourishment, and it takes from the power of the sun, something we all need. But no one takes from the sun like we do to turn black. It's wonderful. It's the bright light in the moon. It's the dark light. It's purple. Black is purple. That's the best type of black, and purple is wonderful. It's one it's one angel, it's one heavenly, it's one godly, spiritual moment of a color that's going to shine through us and make a bridge. But here's the thing, though. We need to take those footsteps. What do? We look at the ocean. We build a boat, a kayak boat. Then we make a boat bigger. We connect with each other, find other Africans. We go to Africa, and Africa's going to call us, and we will simply feel home. We'll be warm welcome just by being there. Everything in Africa is going to remind us of our history and give us the best nourishment possible. Be African, be proud when you go to Africa. There's so much Africa has to offer. You know, if you go to Africa, they'll welcome you in open arms. They are loving, the most caring people to love and care. Hell, there's some countries in Africa where they have almost no crime because everyone and anyone will help everyone. If your car breaks down, 8 people will come up and try to help you to fix your car and have you through your day, even if it takes their entire day away. That's wonderful. That's an instinct we have. We have done many things. Let's keep our future for ourselves, near and dear to ourselves, and let's build it. And let's keep it African. No one better than yourself. No one better than that race who comes from that race of that part of the world where the sun shines on them. When the sun comes out, it shows all those symbols. We are black, we are proud. Black literally blends into the night. Black skin does. But the sun still loves us to nourish us so much more. We are the plants of the world. We are human plants. We connect. By the way, we had empires and walls. Hope you know that. We had African empires. The richest man in history was Mansa Musa. His name translates to Dun-da-da-da, Musa the Sultan. So, let's shine. Let's flourish. Let's be African, because we already are. Let's just get everything African together, the tools we need to go back to Africa and motherland. We've been lied to. Time to seek our reality and make our own path. Then make our own ocean current path. Then build a bridge after we reach the motherland. Before we build a bridge, we revel, we stand down, we bury our hands and feet in the motherland, and we say we planted our roots and we are good again, and we are going to grow. Africa is Africa has given us the soil. The seed has been planted. It's helped it grow. We are African. We are proud. Be proud of your roots, Africa. Find the truth. We had empires. The richest man in the world, Mansa Musa. He puts all these millionaires and billionaires to shame, including Bill Gates, and the owner of Amazon. His network was worth an estimate of $4 billion. This is real historian history. This is history facts that is on record that more people are talking about now. We didn't know about that. A lot of us did live in empires. We had concrete walls. The very first C-section surgery, successful one, was actually started by an African woman. The Dogon tribe. We mapped out the stars. You know that song in Black Panther by Kendrick Lamar and the one female music artist, Black Beautiful Sister, that Black Beautiful walking, singing Coffee Bean. When you say, how's it go? Into the night now, how we feel now, 'cause all the stars are closer. We literally mapped out the stars. Not saying all of us. And by the way, Africans, we are African, but we're all different. We are diversely Africanly different, but we're still African at the end of the day. Our roots are still in the ground. Matter if there's a different ground, whether it's in the sky or in a rock, we are African. Just with a tree, the power of a tree leads you to a future. It plants your roots. The tree is so mighty. It's old and ancient. It's primitive, but it's still the best thing to look at because it gives you so much life and gives you a future. That foundation, it gives you the nourishment to look at life and say, wow, it gave me something wonderful and more. And let me tell you this. I know this is a long 20-minute video right now. I want to say this, though. A tree is ancient. It may be terrible, but it's ancient. It has no purpose in the world. It ain't doing nothing. It's not getting us a future. No. Yes, it can. It's called agriculture. Plant your roots. And let me say this. Let me say this to you. We need a tree. You can see it flourish. The tree of life. Africa, the circle of life. Wood. Just with wood, the Dogon tribe mapped out the stars. We literally, the Dogon, were an African tribe who still is an African tribe living in huts. They mapped out the stars before the Romans and Greeks. We were the first to see the stars. So when they said that song, all the stars are closer, all the stars are above us, all the stars are closer, because they are close to us. The Dogon worshiped the star as their god, as their deity. And they mapped out the stars. And NASA literally researched it. They found, they looked, and they said the Dogon were right. The Dogon has no modern day technology. We mapped out the stars. The stars are closer. We're the first ones to actually touch the sky, to touch the nighttime sky and the diamonds up there. And by the way, Africa produces the most diamonds in the world and gold. Ghana alone produces so much gold. It's wonderfully wealthy. So remember that. The Benin Empire is who we are. We actually had swords. Remember the episode of Samurai Jack when we went to Africa with stick fighting? You found those bandits that covered their faces with the long teepee hats, hut hats? He had a sword. They were swinging, made this noise. That was a real African sword. There's debate if it was used in war or it was used for rituals. But that isn't a real that is a real African sword. We're bringing back our history. Let's keep it going. We should have a medieval African festival. African and proud. Our roots stay to the ground, and from our roots we shall grow and flourish and get nourishment from the sun and have the best future that will never end. Remember that. So, we are more than a bunch of tree huggers, black people wearing skirts, wooden skirts. We are African, we are proud. We have the African Empire, and black is wonderful. Let's keep black. Let's keep black, plant it in the ground so it can flourish. Then we can drink from it. By the way, the very first coffee was actually discovered in Ethiopia. The very first coffee beans in that country, that's Ethiopia. Let's know the future. Let's know our past. Let's be African. And let's take our footsteps in the tradition of our ancestors. African and proud, the roots shall grow. And let's take our footsteps and dance in tradition. Africa. Bye. African American History Month just passed. I want to simply talk about this. Honor, recognize everything we did, but now the next step is we already conquered being free and living as free African Americans in the American country. But now the next step we need to do, go back to Africa. We are simply wanting and thinking, and our DNA is saying we have a craving. Let's satisfy this craving to go back to Africa. If the Gullah Geechee people and the Afro-Latinos do it and still honor their culture, why can't we? The Gullah Geechee people who are enslaved Africans who literally, surprise, surprise, bought the land they were enslaved on, they still live on it to this very day in freedom of 500 years of slavery after it was over, still live on the land and do African traditions as if they were living in Africa and have their language called the Gullah Geechees, a language which they made to communicate with each other. Simple as that. They satisfy their cravings, and they still say we should go back. They still say the next step is go back to the motherland of Africa. That's what one of the women said, one of the Gullah Geechee people said. Now, the Afro-Latinos are still trying to be as African as they possibly can be by still living in Latino countries, especially in the Caribbean. They're still heavily African, but they're still doing all the hate and racism that we have fought and got rid of, and but are still dealing with, but got rid of and put down and living good in America. So, bottom line, they still have those cravings. They satisfy them as much as they can, but we still need to go to Africa. Next craving, African Americans, go back to Africa. Simple as that. Whether it's to visit or live, all answers will be answered, and we'll feel nourished, and enlightened by the pigment and the sun sunning down to give us our pigment. Our black skin is beautiful. It's wonderful. It is our DNA. Let's honor it by going back to Africa and bathe in the sun and in the roots of Africa.